Welcome everyone to the North Peninsula Democratic Club Candidates Forum for September 12th, 2015, and this is for the San Mateo County General Election on Tuesday, November 3rd. Our club was chartered by the San Mateo County Democratic Central Committee on May 17th, 2007. We proudly serve Democrats in and around the cities of Brisbane, Daly City, Colma, South San Francisco, San Bruno, Millbrae, Burlingame, and Hillsborough. Democrats who are candidates in each of our service areas in which there is a contested race were invited to participate in the Candidates Forum. 8 of 9 agencies and 15 candidates responded. If you would like to know more about our club, you can contact North Peninsula Democratic Club, P.O. Box 399 in Millbrae, California, or you can email me, marge4millbrae@att.net. We also have information about becoming a member of our club on one of the tables out in the lobby, and there are also other informational papers about once you're a member, if you would like to be an associate member of the County Democratic Central Committee. We're always happy to welcome Democrats as renewing and new members. I also, first of all, want to begin by introducing today's moderator, the Honorable Jean Mullen, Assemblyman for the former 19th District. What we're going to I'm going to when it's time, I will let the Assemblyman give us the procedure that we're going to follow for this. So he'll tell you the time. I'll be keeping the time cards, and I'll be giving you warnings at 30 seconds and 15 seconds. I want to also acknowledge the people who helped us put this forum together. The North Peninsula Democratic Board of Directors, Pamela DiGiovanni, Vice President, Sam Mena, Secretary, Ann Schneider, Treasurer, Sandra Lang, ex officio member. The forum subcommittee consisted of Pamela DiGiovanni, Sandra Lang, Robert Bernardo, and Vaughn Jones. We're very grateful to the Transport Workers Union of America, AFL-CIO Local 505, Mike Mays, President, Jennifer Platt, Vice President, Marcy Bruins, Financial Treasurer. Millbrae Community Television is here today to record the forum, and we want to thank their Board of Directors, Andy Pittman, their General Manager, and you'll see in the room today on camera is Aaron Fellers and Andy Chan. The candidate forums may be viewed on demand beginning at 12 noon on Friday, September 16th at www.mctv.tv. And all you have to do is click on the Watch menu for a list of 8 separate videos, one for each candidate race. Or you may watch your own interview, or as many that you wish. You may also search on YouTube for the North Peninsula Democratic Candidate Forum 2015. You also may post a link to your own campaign website, if you wish, to the MCTV YouTube site. Again, we want to welcome you, and we're going to begin today with our Assemblyman, Honorable Jean Mullen.
Thank you, Marge, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to greet Brisbane as our icebreakers this morning. While we have a small audience to begin with, I think the fact that MCTV is recording this will give greater access to a large number of people, and including yourselves, if you wish to, as Marge indicated, post this on your websites, if you have websites. I'm old enough that we didn't have websites when I first ran for city council back in the day. So what we're going to do is, the procedure is, each one of you will be given 1 minute to make an opening statement, and then I will be given some questions, and each one of you will have a 1 minute to respond to the question, and if there's a desire for a rebuttal, then there's 45 seconds for the rebuttal, and then we will alternate between the two of you as regarding the response to the questions. And then at the conclusion of the three questions, if there are questions from the audience, they will write those questions on a card, give them to me, I'll ask those questions, and again, the same format, you have 1 minute to respond, and then you have a rebuttal. And at the conclusion of that, each one of you will have 1 minute for a closing statement. Again, this will all be recorded. You don't have to use it if you don't want to, but it is available, which I think is a great tool. So it expands the audience by having a TV audience available. And so, with that,
one of the things that, yeah, just temporarily, I wanted to explain that in the process of keeping the integrity of this forum to the highest standards, we had two of our subcommittee members work on the questions for today. One was Robert Bernardo, he's not able to be here today, and Sandra Lang, who is here. And I refer to them as my Price Waterhouse team because they and only they establish the questions for each agency, for each race. And when they did that, they put it in an envelope. They sealed the envelope. The envelope is marked with Honorable Mullen's name on it, and he will be the first one to open and ask the questions. So thank you.
great. And before we get the questions, I'm going to old-fashioned. I'm going to start with Terry O'Connell and give you an opportunity to provide your opening statement first. And thank you again for being here.
My name is Terry O'Connell, and I am currently on the City Council with Brisbane and serving as their mayor. My husband and I have lived in Brisbane for about 24 years. My husband is a railroad engineer with Union Pacific and is a member of the local UTU 0100. As mayor, we have worked with the city to accomplish quite a bit. One of the most things I'm proud of is that we've accomplished a dredging project that was needed and put off for a long time, and that we are about 50% complete with that project. One of the reasons I would like to continue as council member is that we have a large planning process that is currently going on in the Baylands, which will bring much change to Brisbane and needs to be addressed very thoughtfully. Thank you.
Thank you. And now in order, Mr. Jameel Munir,
Yes,
you have 1 minute for your opening statement, so proceed.
Thank you very much, Honorable Jean Mullen, and also the NPDC, to giving me the opportunity to come before you to discuss what I stand for. I have been the resident of Brisbane for the last 17 years and a planning commissioner for the city during this whole time. I'm currently also a planning commissioner. I worked with the public and private sectors for the last 40 years, involving all sorts of issues regarding transportation, environmental, as well as economic issues with systems like BART, JPB, and also involved in land use issues with the Brisbane. Currently, we have major projects coming up on the X dump site and the Southern Pacific Railroad X maintenance yard, and there are a number of issues involved which...
Well, it's no surprise, of course, that the Baylands area has drawn a lot of attention, not only in Brisbane, but in the entire region. And so the first question for, and we'll start with Mr. Munir. Please share with us your understanding of the Baylands sustainability framework and what it means to Brisbane.
City of Brisbane is very much into conservation, and if you see that the number of hybrid cars in the city, you'll be surprised how many people are interested in saving the earth, renewable energy. And we have a separate forum called CREBS that are working on how to provide the sources for the renewable energy at the dump site, which is now the Baylands. There are also issues with the water, since California is going through the drought right now. So there's the issue as to how we're going to bring the water to this. There are also issues regarding the hazardous material that's on the site and how to mitigate that. And as an engineer, civil and mechanical engineer in master's degree, and also 17 years on planning commission, I think I'm ready to tackle those jobs.
All right, Mr. Connell, same question to you.
The sustainability framework is a model that the city, council, staff, and subcommittees have worked on to try to make any development that happens at the Baylands as good as it can be, with an ultimate goal of having a net zero impact on the environment. It is heavily reliant on water, recycling water, and the wastewater issues, along with the green building ordinances, going up to LEED standards, and doing the best we can to integrate it in a non-invasive manner. Thank you.
All right. Second question, recently your city manager provided a report about Brisbane's lack of transportation options. Could you respond, or what do you think about that, Ms. O'Connell?
Brisbane does have a lack of transportation options. We're on the Caltrain line, but we don't have a stop in town, so you need to take transportation to get to our stop. We are on the Samtrams 292, and we fought very hard to keep that line viable when Samtrans was going through their changes to stop the highly curtail the line. We have implemented quite a bit of shuttle services in town and out to our outlying areas and to the BART station, and those are funded through the CCAG process, and we are actually the #1 ridership of the 4 shuttle loops in Brisbane and serving the businesses there. So I think we need to look at alternative ways. The big shuttle, the big service isn't going to come to us, but I think the little things will.
Mr. Munir?
I agree with what Ms. Connell said just now. However, with my background in transportation, I've worked for the transportation industries for the last 30 years. There are a lot of things we can do to improve the situation at Brisbane and also along the entire peninsula. One and foremost was the original idea of BART going around the entire all Bay Area counties that never materialized. And my feeling is that along the current Caltrain line, we could do a lot to bring the better transportation within that corridor, including Brisbane, by moving the station closer to the Brisbane. Right now, the South San Francisco station is very underutilized, and that can be done as far as all the other issues regarding the shuttle buses and bicycle riding to the nearby South San Francisco.
All right, I'm having difficulty not following up on these questions, but that's the politician in me, I'm afraid. All right, the third question, and we'll start with Mr. Munir. Please state your views on sustainable development, which we've covered already, as it relates to affordable housing, which is sort of the integral part of that project. So you're up again.
Yeah, I'm very much interested in, as Ms. Connell indicated, in implementing the green building ordinance. And I have worked on those standards throughout my life with the state of California, trying to incorporate those in any of the upcoming affordable housing, or even in the Baylands. I think it's important to realize that we are running out of resources, and it's a real issue that we need to address. Conservation is the key, and also trying to come up with alternate means to provide the energy as well as water resources. And I'm surprised that nothing has been done to have the desalination plants within California.
All right, again, with the focus on affordable housing, Mrs. O'Connell.
I think the only way we can actually achieve affordable housing, especially with the removal of redevelopment funds, is to make sure that our planning process encourages affordable units to be built by building small units. If the units are not going to be small, they're going to be market rate or above market rate, and we're not going to gain affordable housing for the masses. We need to look at limiting sizes of the homes. I personally live in an 800 square foot home, and I'm perfectly happy and have as much room as I need. So I don't think that I think we need to get off that trend of building bigger and better and bring ourselves down so we can be sustainable.
Okay. Now, do we have questions from the audience? Then I'll ask one and I'll start with Mr. O'Connell. On the Baylands development, are you in favor of or opposed to having portions of that housing as opposed to all retail and commercial? And then we'll ask Mr. Munir.
Can I give a short answer, or what kind of time frame do I have on this?
1 minute.
1 minute.
1 minute to respond.
Okay. I do not believe the Baylands is the proper place for housing, and I do not support housing on the Baylands. I think that it changes the demographics of Brisbane. It would be very separate from Brisbane and would not be inclusive with our community. I don't think it's safe, and I don't think that the costs of remediation are not going to be able to be absorbed into affordable housing.
Mr. Munir?
Yeah, I agree with, again, with Ms. Terry Connell. There are a number of safety issues involved also, along with the fact that it is on the dump site. And I'm not in favor of any kind of housing on the Baylands. As far as the hazardous material concern, we do have the concern of if you do provide the housing on that, we will be exposing our citizens to that. The only possible way to do that will be to have an extensive work done in terms of mitigating the hazardous waste effects, which is not possible. Then there is, as an engineer, I see that there are problems with the settlements also. So the viable solution is not to have the housing.
All right, that's one question. Do we have a question, anyone else that would care to provide to our two candidates? All right, then I'll follow up with my own second question. Without providing any housing, but providing a lot of commercial and industrial uses, which will create lots of jobs, do you have a sense of where the people who will be working in Brisbane were going to live? And I'll start with Mr. Munir. If you're not going to provide housing, but you're going to provide all sorts of jobs, isn't that the same dilemma that we have with Oracle and others that get lots of tax revenue but exacerbate the problem of housing?
As you know, San Francisco is going through a number of projects within the vicinity of the Baylands. The ex-Candlestick Park, as well as the Sledge factory, that's going to be converted mostly into housing. So I believe that if we work with the city of San Francisco to have their housing available for the people working in the Baylands, and also the idea of having a smaller and mixed-use housing in those areas will provide enough opportunity to shop within that area and encourage the San Francisco to share their housing with the city of Brisbane when it comes to the Bayland.
Okay, and Mrs. O'Connell?
There's always a dilemma on where people are going to live. Unfortunately, most people, when they change jobs, don't change homes also. They find a place they like to live, and they're going to commute to that job because people put down roots in their homes and in their home communities. Again, San Francisco, and I agree with Mr. Munir, San Francisco is building 25,000 homes immediately in the vicinity. Daly City has plans for many thousand more. And so I think that the putting homes where people can build community is a better fit for our particular land use without putting people at risk to live on a toxic waste dump.
All right, thank you very much for those very thoughtful responses. We have now the opportunity for each one of you to have a closing statement, also of 1 minute, and we'll start with Mr. Munir.
Okay, my background in transportation, environmental, as well as the socioeconomic, I think that I'm the better suited for the upcoming major issues coming before the city of Brisbane. I worked on all sorts of agencies, whether it's federal, state, or local agencies, to come up with a position on a number of issues along the peninsula as well as statewide. And I think I can bring that expertise here. I do have the environmental I have done these environmental studies during my career at University of California, Davis, and I had 2 papers on my credit which relates to the air pollution modeling, and I was working on green building concepts way back in 1972.
Thank you very much. And Ms. O'Connell?
I would like the opportunity to continue the work that we've started and bring some of the ideas for sustainability and energy production to the Baylands and bring them forward with a plan that's concrete. We were under the assumption that this would happen in the first 4 years that I was on the council, and it hasn't. And it may not happen in the next 4 years, but I think it's a really, really important issue. And so I would like to be able to continue that work, and I think that experience makes a difference, and having someone who is familiar with the work that's on the ground makes a difference. So, thank you.
Well, let me thank you both for kicking off our forum this morning. You both did excellent presentations. If I was either one of you, I would take advantage of the Millbrae Community TV opportunity to take your responses and put them on your websites and use them as very strong political statements. And so thank you very much for being with us, and good luck to both of you in your upcoming races. We'll be watching them closely. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you both for hosting us.